Welcome back, everybody, to episode 89 of the
Wow.
Lookout Podcast.
Yeah.
Wow. I know, right? This is getting close. It's kind of close. It's kind of close to
We're
100.
we're cutting it.
With that said, of course, I am Meelz. I am
Yes,
here with
yeah.
the Platinum Chanel boy himself, Jeff.
What's going on, man? Happy
Man.
to be here. It's a fun one right here.
This is a fun one. This is a fun
Yes.
one. This is like a good afternoon delight. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It's a middle of the afternoon. We're recording this. Just an overall great experience. But we have a guest on there. Someone who I think I legitimately so I always have a story of how I stumble on guests and stuff like that. Obviously Rock Lock from My Hero Academia.
Right, yeah. We've had conversations.
As one of the most, there's very few people in anime or people who do voiceovers where I was like, you're black. For sure.
Right, for sure.
It is between him and it's also who does the voice of Dispo in Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah, we spoke about this before. Yeah. You just knew it, you could just tell.
Yeah. Top might also be, no, you might not. You might, but I was like, Jiren, maybe, I don't know.
Right.
But nonetheless, so definitely, and I've always wanted to continue to talk to the voice actors at My Hero Academia. We had Zeno on last year.
Yeah, it was awesome.
This year, or at least this episode, like to introduce everybody. You may know the voice. You definitely probably know the voice.
You definitely know the
voice. Welcome, Gabe Kunda to the show. What's up, my man?
Hey, what's going on? How you guys doing?
Oh, great.
Doing well, man. I'll be honest. You have like your voice is it cuts through, but it's also warm and also like.
Yeah, man. We see how you do it for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's like I feel like we might be able to slow jam this episode a little bit just based on your voice.
Most definitely. We could put like an instrumental, like a Marvin Gaye instrumental.
I love it. I'm down. I am down for all that.
Oh my God.
You said Marvin Gaye, I'm down for that.
Have you done radio before? Wait.
Radio? Oh no.
Yeah.
No.
Man, you make a killing.
I have not done there. I got in when I started doing like the voiceover stuff. Like that was what I was using to get into voiceover. So we had like audio or a radio audio production thing at our school, which was really dope. And I got into that because I was like, I'm gonna get into radio, and then from there I'm gonna do voiceover. Which a lot of people, they get into radio and then they stumble into voiceover. So that's kind of the other way around, kind of reverse engineering. So I did radio, but in a very amateur way. It wasn't like, and I'm a sophomore in high school, so my voice is all the way up here, and 99.9 The Wild. I'm trying to make my voice do all that, but it wasn't working, and so it wasn't until I got older, that I started kind of growing into what I have now. But yeah, no, I not professionally. I can't say I have. No,
you definitely make a killing, bro. Like I used to do radio at my college radio station as well. I think that probably like got me like into maybe like doing podcasts a little bit better, of just like, instead of talking kind of normally, you got to like turn it on.
Yeah.
Do a little.
You got to turn it on.
You got to absolutely turn it on. So it's like it got me into that as well. But first of all, have to introduce. Yeah, absolutely, in a personality as well. First of all, fellow Aquarius. Wow.
Yeah, all of us.
Oh, but of course, I don't really dig into the horoscope.
Me neither, but I like the bond.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly.
It's what kind of,
there's something there.
What's your day on your birthday?
Mine is February 17th.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm the first.
Oh wow, yeah. So we're all up. I mean, mine's basically February. January 31st is basically February.
You're right.
Yeah.
No, I'm in that same flow. I don't really. I gotta look at like what contains Aquarius. Like, what are the attributes of one?
We are special people, man. We're special people.
That makes sense. I see that every day.
I'm telling you right now.
I can definitely grasp onto that. I am special.
Absolutely, man. Listen. I'll be honest. I'm not really an astrology person as well. I just like the bond. I like the fact that Jeff and I came together also realized we're Aquarius, and then we have you on, and it's like, okay, Aquarius, okay, all right, we on
this
the
works.
That means the podcast, we're about to do this whole like fusion hot thing.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
Like, what do we?
Oh my god. Oh my god. I was pretty much just kind of explaining you before we got onto this, explaining you about my day and the whole pandemic thing and stuff like that. How has this entire year kind of been for you? Like, it's been a lot of different.
Oh man, dude.
Things.
Yeah, the 2020. I don't even like saying.
Do you remember
2020?
I know. Do you remember the day that you felt like the world shut down? Do you remember what you were doing that day?
Oh, absolutely. It was spring break. I was with my wife in Austin, Texas, and we were just taking, it was the middle of the week, like Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah.
And so we went off and did our thing, came back, and then we saw, the first thing I saw on my Twitter feed was that the celebrity, what's his name? Oh, who got it? I think he's the voice of
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks.
Yeah,
I saw that he got it.
The first,
and
he's
so
the first celebrity ever.
Yeah. No, we were, and when I was watching it in our hotel room, I was like, oh, okay, so I guess this thing is kind of real, but it ain't not coming here, you know. And so then, like an hour later, I got a notification saying like the former president, 45, had came up there and said that we're shutting down borders and this and that. Then I was like, okay, now let me
get home.
This is getting a little real, but man, it'll be gone by the next day, bro. Man, that's
surprise.
The surprise. Friday morning, it was like all hell done broke loose, bro. And we got back home. Everything was shut down. My wife was a teacher, and now was like working from home, and everything just flipped on its head. And even on the voiceover side of stuff, like everything paused. Like the world stood still for like 2 weeks. Like we were like, what the heck do we do now? And then little by little, VO really, I mean, it started kind of shooting up because everybody was starting to rely on just like voiceover and, animated series were still being created. And especially on the anime side of things, certain shows we were in the middle of working on. So I remember, we were finishing up the season 4 of My Hero. And even that, we had to figure, a lot of folks had to figure out how to record from home because some actors actually did not have their own home setup, which is amazing to think about. But they didn't have their own home setup, so they had to figure it out. I was in a good position because I worked about 80% of my work is from home. And I do a lot of like TV promo and trailers and commercials, stuff like that. So I have to have a home studio. Right. So when everything kind of hit the fan that way, I didn't really get affected by that in terms of trying to find something to record in. But yeah, man, other than that, the year, it's weird because it was a great year in terms of like work, but it was sad because, we lost a lot of folks,
Absolutely.
man.
Absolutely. Meelz and I kind of on the same page. We did a lot of podcasts, like we did a lot of work, a lot of shows last year. We had a lot of time on our hands, and that was great. But yeah, it was definitely just bad on the outside.
Yeah,
absolutely. Sure. I think we made a lot of progress. For instance, I only say this for instance because Jeff and I don't live in the same area. We've actually never met in person.
No.
Oh wow.
We've been working together for a while, but yeah, we make it work.
Yeah. We've been working together for 3 years doing this podcast and just kind of developed this like chemistry nonetheless. So like this never affected us. If anything,
we got on harder.
Time, to improve our output and drop off more podcasts and contact more people and all this other stuff like that.
That's
now you talk about the voiceovers you do. I have to, I'm connected to one in particular. I did not know that you did the NXT voiceovers, which is incredible.
That is incredible.
Yeah, because we were wrestling fans, and and I was like, "Holy shit!" By the way, every time, because I definitely, I'm so journalist, all those stuff, and we also do our homework on you as well before we of course do this podcast and stuff. But literally like most videos where I see you do voiceovers is holy shit, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's truly impressive, man.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Oh man, I've been doing NXT now since I think it's like August of last year. Being at the voice of the show and stuff, it's been really crazy. I've done some other stuff for WWE proper, the main show as well. I just finished. I did the cold open for WWE Fastlane that just that's last week.
Ooh,
Yeah, so at the beginning of it, when it opens up with the narration,
You
I'm
see that,
my
Meelz?
voice.
come on
You
now.
see that, Meelz? Incredible, man. Incredible.
So yeah, I thank you. Yeah, that's been an awesome thing because I as well. I it's weird. I'm a huge WWE fan, but I kind of over time grew out of it, and I hate it. But like I've tried to force myself back into that moment when I was like I think in my teenage, but I'm like
Right.
I think I watched WWE since I was like 8 to about 17 around that time,
Right,
and I was
right.
Okay.
really heavy. Like I was playing the games, I was doing I was a huge fanatic, and then for some reason with school and everything, I just kind of grew out of it, and I hate it. I
Happens. It
literally hate it.
happens.
But
Happens to the
now,
best of us.
yeah, but now it's just kind of hard to kind of sit through because I don't know anybody other than the OGs, and so
Right.
yeah, I'm trying to. It's great because I working on it. I'm getting familiar with the folks and getting to say their names and stuff. I'm always looking them up, or they're sending me clips over of the next week's kind of matches and stuff like that. So I'm able to kind of learn that way. But yeah, that's I've been doing that for a few months now. It's been a blast. It's been a blast.
Yeah, that's incredible.
That's freaking amazing, man. That's awesome. Like, just wow. Okay, so let me, in terms of just kind of your whole approach to this, how did you?
Yeah.
Because it seems like your voice is very controlled. Like, is it sort of a natural thing in terms of like you're able to? I can't explain
He's working
it
all the
because I
time.
don't.
It's like you're
Yeah.
working right now. I know you're just being yourself, obviously, but the voice is so good. It's like I'm almost embarrassed. I'm like, damn, man, I need to get my shit together.
No, because
man.
I'll be honest with you. Have you ever had the experience where
Yeah.
you were recording yourself? I can say this for the first ever podcast that I did, where you recorded yourself, listen back, and it was like, I sound like that.
Yeah, I've had several times where I've done something. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I think I'm a little too critical of myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think I can be a little like, oh man, that sounds terrible. I don't know why they're hiring me to do this and that and third and whatever. So yeah, I've had moments like that, but I try to record and then send. It's hard because a lot of the work that I do, I have to kind of listen back and make sure everything I'm saying stuff right,
Right.
words right. But with auditions specifically, I try to record and then like send it off, because if I sit there and I try to like listen and dissect everything I'm doing, man, I'll never send it off. I'm too critical. I'm too critical.
Now, from all the videos I saw, you have this, I won't say it's a quirk or something like that. Is the hand thing an
quirk.
Absolute?
Oh man.
It's a quirk.
Is it an absolute, like, could you not say that if you could do it without it, but it's something like a comfort type of thing? I was like, okay, when you do like the little hand thing, it's kind of like, when Mariah Carey does the little high pitched note thing.
What's happening. She'll put her hand up and
I
make
hear
sure
you.
you know.
Listen, it's weird because when I do video games, and animation and anime, I don't do that actually. So like when I'm working on character stuff, I'm not doing the hand thing. I'm literally just kind of doing my stuff, and I'm kind of like making gestures with my entire body to get in the character. But if I'm doing like TV promo or like movie trailers or like commercials, then I'll use my hand to kind of, I don't know why that is, to kind of conduct I'm also like, so I have a degree in music education. And like that's my first love, and I was gonna go be like, I got my degree and then I was gonna teach choral music, and so I'm a conductor at heart, and so that's a way I conduct myself when I'm reading phrases and lines and stuff. I hear everything kind of like through music, and so that's what I'm doing when I'm like conducting myself in my hand. And so I've done it so much that like it's just kind of natural to me. So I'm doing it, and people are like, the hand goes with the words and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I can't really, like, if you were to throw a piece of copy in front of me for like commercial or whatever, and you tied my hands, I would be done. It would be like I'm completely honest with you. I would be able to know how to convey what I need to convey, because like I feel like my power has been stripped from me. So yeah, it's a quirk. I'll take it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
I respect
that's fair.
it.
That's fair. Yeah, I would call it a quirk. So,
and then
Absolutely.
I mean, you've had so many. What will you say is probably the most memorable voiceover that you probably have done as of late? Like most memorable one.
Most memorable was definitely hearing myself on the Super Bowl for Raya and the Last Dragon. I did I'm the trailer voice for that thing. And the thing that was so memorable about it was the fact that I didn't my managers kept it from me. They didn't tell me that it was going to be airing on the Super Bowl. So
That's
I'm just
sweet.
sitting there. I'm just sitting there with my wife, like, or she's in the kitchen cooking. It's funny. I have a video of it on my page, but she's in the kitchen just cooking. And I'm like watching the game. I'm like, okay, cool. I mean, the pre, before the game starts or whatever. Okay, this is cool. Jasmine Sullivan just got done singing or whatever. I'm like, yo, she killed it. And literally after Jasmine Sullivan got done, the Raya spot came on for Disney, and I was like, wait a minute. And normally in my mind, like, a lot of times in trailers, like, they've moved a lot from voiceover to just having no voiceover. So in my mind, when I'm seeing it, I'm like, oh, there's not going to be any voiceover on it. They're just going to show the picture because everybody's watching. There's no need to kind of get people's attention. But I heard from Disney, and I was like, wait, what's going on? What's going on?
That was it.
Yeah. And then I'm like seeing it go down, and I'm hearing like it's quite a bit of narration, and I'm like, yo! I'm like screaming in my living room, like,
that is
yo,
incredible.
that is me. And that has always been my dream, is to do a Super Bowl commercial, and for it to do, like, to be a trailer and on the Super Bowl where like millions of people are watching. It was crazy, man.
We all heard you.
Like one of my like that is a highlight of my career, for sure.
Absolutely,
yeah, no, that's awesome. I couldn't imagine the feeling of knowing everybody just heard my voice. Everybody just heard me kill this. That's incredible.
I don't think you ever. I mean, anytime I hear myself on the TV, like I even regular broadcast stuff, I'm still like, oh my God, like I'm still like, this is what I do, man. But to on that kind of stage, man, like it's insane. Like I can't really put words to how that makes me feel or anything. Like it's just a dream come true, man. It's black boy joy all day.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
crazy blessing.
man.
Crazy blessing.
Do you feel like, at least in this sort of space, because I know for the last number of years or so we've been kind of seeing, I don't want to say a rise, because honestly I don't know if there are many black voice actors when I was a kid. I honestly don't know. That wasn't a thing I sort of look for. I think now there's a rise with kind of like social media, people understanding, people especially in the anime community, people who are these voice actors who are praised for their versatility and all this stuff like that. Do you see a lot of other black voice actors when you go out and do these things, whether you do it for shows or whether you I guess mostly only shows, because you would do the voiceovers for these trailers in your crib. Yeah. But do you see a lot of other ones? Like,
there's definitely, man, there's like you said, there's definitely been a rise of black talent. It's just the truth of the matter, and I'm happy about it, because when I started out, I mean, there was African American talent out there, people of color, but when I think over time it's gotten so much. I think the demand right now for just diversity, and that word kind of gets thrown around so many times. Right. But like honestly, like the intentionality behind hiring black actors and black voice actors, it's starting to be. I love it, because I actually see that auditions come in every time asking for African American on the specs, or people of color, which is great. I love it. But I will say, when I was kind of growing up and watching all these shows, there wasn't a lot. I'm being honest with you, there wasn't like, I was working on Dragon Ball Super, and one of the directors on the show was like, man, it's so good to have. I'm just gonna be completely frank. It's so good to have a black talent on this show, because like, even on anime specifically, like, we don't have a lot of them, and or a lot of them, or some of them come in and then they go to prelay animation, which is like on the Disney and all that kind of stuff or whatever, which is great. It's amazing. But specifically in anime, there's not a lot. And so he was telling me, he's like, it's so great to have that, and to see that it's going to start opening doors for other people, to kind of get some encouragement. I think also, like, you can kind of get discouraged if you're a person of color. If you kind of get discouraged if you don't see someone else who looks like you're doing the job, you're like, oh, maybe whatever. Like I may not have a shot, or maybe it's too hard to get in. So, but to see people like, Zeno Robinson, for instance, or like your Phil Mars and like E.K. Amadi, like all these other folks who are black, in the game and killing it. It's just kind of like, oh my God, like. They don't know it. Sometimes you don't know it when you're in the job, but you're paving the way for other folks like who look like you, who want to do what you're doing. So anyway, a long story long. Yeah. I when I go to sessions and stuff like that, when I am working like in a capacity where, we're other cast members, it's amazing because I am starting to see a lot more color in there. I'm like, yeah, man.
Okay, I see.
Because it's good. It's good to have some different perspectives.
Most definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So you talked about, doing the voiceover for Dragon Ball Super. I know personally from doing my research that one of the earliest animes that you've seen was Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, man.
Of course, we're the same.
Story all start. I feel like if you're American, you came up around the 80s, 90s.
You kind of had no choice, man. You kind of had they just fed it down our throats.
Let me ask you something. If you had the choice to voice any character in DBZ, which one would it be?
Oh my God.
Really flip it.
It's a remake. It's a remake.
I would love to take a shot at Piccolo, man.
Oh man,
because the brother's black. I don't care what anybody says.
There it is.
Anybody says
there it is.
He is that, and man, oh man, let's see. I really loved Hercule as well, man. I don't know why.
I think you would do really well with Hercule as well.
Yeah, I don't know, man. When I played the Budokai Tenkaichi series, I always went with Hercule all the time. So
he was so annoying in that game, dude.
He was.
Oh my God. I can't believe it. Yeah, I'm having flashbacks right now thinking about it. That was awful.
Couldn't do much, but and then one of the Majins, bro, for sure. And I think it would be not Kid Buu, oh my God,
the one beforehand,
after Gohan,
who fades Goku.
The skinny one, the middle.
That's Super Buu. Was that his name?
I don't think that's Super Buu. Or is it?
It's the one that ate the
Gohan?
Not the one. What am I saying? The one that went on the lookout and destroyed everything.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe that is.
That's Super.
Maybe that's Super Buu. Yeah. Him.
Yeah, he's badass. Yeah.
He cold-blooded. He got thrashed, but he cold. But
he did get thrashed.
Absolutely, man. No, I mean
that's a hard question.
We've all had this. Yeah, we've all had the same experience with Dragon Ball Z. I think about it all the time and stuff like that. Like I try to, I play around. I don't want to say I play around with voice acting, but I like imitating voices. I've always done that kind of as a kid. Was it something that you always found yourself doing as well?
As a kid, honestly, as a young, prior to my sophomore year in high school, no, not really. What I did, though, a lot is, and I feel kind of embarrassed saying this, but I don't care. Like, I played with action figures until, I played with action figures probably until I was, I'd say about 16, 17. Like, to be honest with you. Like,
nothing wrong with that, dude.
Huge. But so what I would do, though, is I'd have, 30 action figures that I had picked up along kind of my journey of collecting them and whatever. And I would give them individual voices and create this fantasy around specific. And it could be something crazy like a He-Man action figure with a Vegeta, and creating a universe around that and making it kind of intertwine. And so I remember I used to do that all the time. Like I would go outside and pick up some grass, make it into land and do all this kind of stuff. And then have another scene where it's in the bathtub or something like that, some new bubbles to make it look like it's lava. And my imagination would go wild. And it would just be because I was never really good at school and paying attention in class and doing all that kind of stuff. So that stuff and playing video games and kind of geeking out that way was my escape from the fact that I couldn't do school well, So that was my thing. And so in terms of creating voice characters and stuff like that, I think I did that not knowingly, you know, when I was playing with toys and action figures and all that kind of stuff.
I think I did the same thing, dude. I just wasn't good at it. You know, it's like, you know, like we all had our moments going outside trying to go Super Saiyan or pretending I'm in a Mobile Suit Gundam or something like that.
Yeah,
but,
man.
You know, those are good times, man. I mean, if you did it till you were 16, 17, honestly, it's honorable. To be honest.
Man. Hey, man. It's funny because my little brother now, he's what is he? I think he's 16 now. He's still like he's got toys galore. I say toys, action figures galore. Yeah. I mean, he's still, you know, doing his thing. So I'm like, man, you don't have to grow up too fast. If you still enjoy them, you know, go for it.
Yeah. And a lot of people just collecting them now. I know as a kid, well, I can't even say as a kid because as an adult, I've done fucking voices on this podcast. I don't know.
You definitely have. One thing I think is just like going back to, you know, like your brother and I have a 12-year-old brother as well. Me being 31, for us to kind of communicate properly, you know, I've still played Pokemon to this day. So it was just easy. I think a lot of things that me and Meelz talk about, I'm actually happy that we, you know, what we do as grown men, we allow other people to be so open with what they love, you know? So I don't really think about that often, but just us talking about anime or things that may seem, you know, childish at times and talking about it as adults, man, I just hope it allows kids to keep just doing whatever they want to do. You know, if it's watching cartoons, anime, action figures, whatever it may be. You know, I just think it's important.
Yeah, allowing people to have that space to create and just fantasize and use their imaginations. Because, like, bro, like the work that I do on a daily basis, like, depends on me, like, having an imagination. Like, when you're doing video games or when you're doing animation and stuff, you have to put yourself in that place and have the connection. And some people don't have that connection to their imagination to kind of think beyond their reality, just because a lot of times when they've grown up, it's like, no, stop that. That's for kids. Stop doing that. But I'm thankful that my parents were just kind of like, let me do whatever I did, because now I'm able to easily tap into that and just pretend and have fun with it, and not feel like I'm just like, is everybody staring at me? What are they going to think about when I, you know, all that stuff. I agree.
You can't get lost in the sauce, man. Like, you know, always kids at heart, for sure. I know I can never let it go. You know, I've said it multiple times to Meelz, like, tapped in.
Yeah, listen, one of our most popular. So Jeff and I do another podcast with a friend named Pat called Mount Silver. It's a Pokemon podcast. We don't do it often, but we do it from time to time because you'll revisit, and the amount of people I think who gravitate towards that just because they feel, first of all, it's kind of back then. Also, you're kind of speaking to them. Also, it's like maybe they still love it, but no one else does. But at least they have someone who's have that, at least that conversation, so they feel kind of like that sort of situation. And I think it's incredibly important to like continue to be open, and I think it's a, you know, your imagination continue to like, I feel like it's a thing you got to exercise as well, and you get for it to grow and for it to, you know, expand and stuff like that, and that just opens a lot more opportunities to a lot of different things.
100%. 100%. And it like you said, it's also a muscle, man. Like, because you're able to create things that just weren't there before. I mean, you just think about it, man. Like, you're able to create things that weren't there before and then act on those things and kind of try to figure out a way to bring whatever you're like seeing in your mind to the forefront, which it just always, you know, I think that's even with, you know, like I said, I do music. There's a lot of times where I'm just like, I'll be going around the house. I do a lot of vocal arranging for an acapella group that I'm a part of. And a lot of times I'm hearing a song, like I'm hearing a Stevie Wonder song, and I want to arrange something for it. And I hear a dope chord in my mind. I'm like, ooh, I got to go arrange that. So I'll run. And the fun part about it is trying to figure out what chord I heard in the moment and trying to pick that out within my imagination, trying to figure out what the chord was. And so, you know, it's just being able to be in tune with that, man. It helps a lot, man. It helps a lot.
Hey, man, you working, man. Audio engineer, vocalist, voiceover.
I try, man. The lights got to stay on, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Bro. Absolutely. I mean, speaking of opportunities, speaking of lights stay on, you had the opportunity just recently to work on Attack on Titan, the final season.
Oh, yeah, man. So
how was that? Yeah.
I've been doing bit parts for Attack on Titan over the last couple of years. But it's funny that I say this, like, I just started watching the show. Like, I hadn't watched the show before, and a couple of weeks ago, I was in LA, or I was in like California for a recording of, and I was like, you know what? I'm not doing anything. I'm in quarantine. Like, we had to quarantine for 4 days, so I just sit in my hotel room for 4 days and not leave.
Right.
And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try this out just to see what's going on with it. I watched the first episode, and I was hooked.
All it took.
Hooked, bro. Like, I was like, this is the show, and I'm on the last episode of season 1. It's hard because, like, well, actually, no, I think there's only like 4 episodes in season 1. I think I'm further than that. Anyway, I'm on a specific episode. But it's hard because I'm working quite a bit, and so trying to find time to sit and watch things. Like, I'm doing Monday through Friday. I'm working, and so Saturday and Sundays are the days where I get to kind of do whatever I want. But Saturdays are mostly the days where I'm kind of chilling or whatever. So I try to watch an episode then. But man, that show is it's probably one of the greatest animes I've seen.
It is.
So it seems to be a resounding answer from a lot of people.
Listen, we have the same exact reaction for seeing the first season, and it's crazy that you see that in the first season. I'm like, wow, this is really like,
I love
this. Is like different, but it's like it's so much story and so much things in between and stuff like that, and kind of like that. And I think it'll go down as one of the one of the greatest anime of all time.
100%.
I think it's a top 3 anime already of all time. It's not yet quite finished, but I'm pretty new to Attack as well. Like, I mean, I guess late last year was when I really like started watching it. So,
oh man, 100%. It's great. What's funny is when I was working on it, like I didn't know what the show was. Like, I was like, okay, just another show. Because when we're doing at Funimation, when we're working on titles, like, we'll get there, and then we may be working with 3 different directors on different properties, and so we're going from booth to booth to booth, working on different stuff. And we just sometimes I don't even I just get into a booth. I don't even pay attention to the name they call out. I'm just like, okay, ready for my lines. Where's it at? And I'm watching, and then I'm trying to figure it out. And then I leave, and then when it comes out, I'm like, oh, that was a show. Oh, and the director may have told me like 15 times. I just didn't pay attention because we're going from booth to booth. And so so when I was working on that with when I came in for that with Mike McFarlane, like he told me what it was. I was like, okay, dope. All right, I'm gonna do my little thing and hop out. And then now I'm watching it. I'm like, I didn't understand what I was working on, but to be a part of that kind of legacy in the small way that I can, man, it's an honor for sure.
Yeah, man. It's incredible. It's one of the Attack on Titan final season is probably one of the most. It's the most pivotal thing, and of course, I don't know how much longer we have of it, but they said the season finale on Sunday, of course. But
yeah,
it's such an amazing thing, and I think it's overall just an amazing experience. And kind of like it's very rare that you get an anime kind of like everyone watches live tweet same time.
Absolutely,
complete show.
Absolutely, sure. and I guess that's the kind of the bar for. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I guess that's kind of the bar of like whether something is great at this point, because it's like everybody, like, you cannot lie. Everybody's talking about this show and like gleaming about the show and talking about how amazing. I mean, and it's creating a conversation, right? So it's kind of like, bruh, if y'all gonna create animes, y'all gotta come in like this.
Got to
absolutely
better
follow the trend.
Yeah.
Well, the same reaction they had for Attack on Titan is the one they had for Dragon Ball Super, which you worked on as well. How was working on Dragon Ball Super?
Fam, that was. I just, I don't even like another hallmark
dreamy,
moment.
right?
Yeah, man. Like, I remember when I went in there, and I was sitting at Okotron Studios here in Texas, and I was like, "Yo, I cannot believe I'm here." And so next door, I hear Chris Sabat screaming at the. I mean, I think he was going Super Saiyan like in the actual like show, but all I see is a door, and I hear him.
He probably
going
goes Super Saiyan
off.
in real life too. Don't worry.
Yeah. I mean, the room was shaking, and
Oh,
I was
man.
like, "That's insane." And then, like a couple minutes later, I hear Sean Schimmel, like in the booth, like he's Skyping in or doing a Source Connect through from LA, and I'm like, I can't believe I am here right now. And then I went
How
in.
inspiring, man.
Yo, it was nuts because again, like I've watched these guys since I was in diapers, like watching the show and like when doggone Goku was turning Super Saiyan 3, it took about 5 episodes to get through that entire thing. But I was there after school, 4 o'clock, 4 kids. I was sitting there watching, bro. And so to be in that spot, and then when I came in to do one character, Rubalt. And I gladly got my rear kicked by Piccolo, and I was cool with it. It's a spoiler alert for those of you who haven't watched it. But then after that, they were like, "Hey, so then we have this other character. If you want," I'm like, "Heck yeah, I want to voice it. Let's go." So I was able to do that too. So anyway, just to say, it was a dream, brother. It was a dream, and I'm so happy to be a part of that in the way I could.
Oh my God. I mean, Jeff and I, the beginning of this podcast, literally, I mean, I think last week was our 3-year anniversary of doing this podcast. And like the beginning of it, the genesis of it is because of that Tournament of Power saga, and because everything that everything that's contributed to it and stuff like that. Do you feel like at least that the dub actors, voiceover actors, especially English ones, are now getting the respect that they kind of deserve? Because I still encounter people who's like, dub.
All right.
I don't watch no dub.
Before Gabe
only watch subs.
Before Gabe answers this, when I first got into anime, and this is just because I didn't really know any better, but I was kind of taught from my peers that sub is superior. Watching it in its original language is superior. So it kind of it happened to me just naturally. And then I got older, and you want to eat while you're watching, or play games while you're watching, and I'm like, this is pretty good. Like the dub, of course. So yeah, how is that? Seriously,
it's one of those things. I guess for some folks, and it's an acquired taste. Like I think for me, dub just worked just because, like you said, like I want to be able to enjoy my food, be in the kitchen and do my thing, and still understand what's going on, not have to pause. And then, if I'm cooking or doing my thing, an hour done gone by and I hadn't watched it or whatever.
Right.
So like, it's what I think the problem I have, because I get people all the time, like they'll come, like I did a convention last year, and somebody came up to me, it's like, I hate the dub of My Hero. I just watch sub only. And I'm like,
wait, they came up to you specifically and it was just like, I just need to let you know.
They came up to me specifically and said, I hate the dub of My Hero Academia. I just watch dub. I'm not quite sure what you want me to do with that information.
Oh my God.
If I need to jump off a cliff or what.
Right.
But even on Twitter, or like social media, people will write, dub sucks. Why y'all leaving it? Yeah, like they'll go in. And it's crazy. Not. And my thing is like, like if you're a sub person, be a sub person. I think I agree with the sentiment of like, it is a lot more accurate in terms of what they're trying to convey. But I think another thing is like with dub, a lot of the jokes and stuff that are used in, let's say, Japan, Korea, like a lot of those jokes, if you translate it directly to the U.S. stuff, we get lost. We don't understand what's going on.
They get lost.
So, there have been some times, even when I'm recording for Rock Lock, I think I switched out some stuff where I said, yo, that's dope, and I would use dope. Now, somebody in Japan ain't gonna use dope, and they just
right.
But somebody who's on the board or on the fence of like sub or dub may hear that and be like, oh no, that's not accurate. That's not it. No, like I'm done with it. But somebody who is open, I guess, to it, maybe like, actually, I appreciate that. That feels more. I feel more connected to the character. I feel more connected to the show. So like, I'm not on either side. I'm like, whatever helps you. Whatever helps you.
He would say dope.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever helps you connect to the show and whatever you feel. Like, I don't think you should pick any side. Like, oh, I'm a sub, so I hate dub, or I'm dub and I hate sub. Like, nah. So it's definitely, but we get those stuff, man. We get we get all types of flack, you know, for dubbing stuff, and it's just kind of like, man, there's nothing we could do. We're just doing our jobs, you know.
Yeah. Well, listen, the thing is, it's like, I think My Hero Academia, and this is not just because you're here, I thought it before I knew you or anybody, or I interviewed anyone from the show. I think it's legitimately one of the best dubs that there ever is, because it sounds so accurate, and it sounds so, nothing sounds out of the ordinary. I think a lot of it helps is that I think a lot of these voices I've heard are for the first time. So it's like, it's not like, for instance, One Piece, right? Yeah. I just started One Piece.
Yeah.
Just started One Piece.
Good luck.
But I've been watching. I know. I got a first 100 episodes. I'm like, okay, we'll stop here and we'll revisit at a later date. But I was like, oh, okay. For me, who's been watching Dragon Ball Z for the last 20 years, I was like, oh, okay. I wonder how many of these voices are going to be in this show. Krillin, Piccolo, all these other stuff. And I think it helps that I feel like it's such a new cast, an original cast of voices of people that you've never really heard, except All Might, because All Might is, you know.
Sure.
He is who he is. Like, you know the voice, but still even a little bit different. But I think that helps as well. But My Hero Academia, Rock Lock, I mean, is that, you feel like, the role in terms of voice acting that put you on the map?
Man, I think it helped. I think it definitely helped, especially on the anime side of things. I didn't have before Rock Lock. It was like I did Fisher Tiger, One Piece, and then I did Gildre Pizot in Black Clover, and some other stuff, some other roles that were, you know, I didn't gauge how fans enjoyed my work in anime, or I didn't know. I just had people tell me, hey, I loved you in this, I loved you in that, but I didn't know how big, whatever. But when I got Rock Lock specifically, when Rock Lock first appeared, that was like the first time I've ever gotten a massive reaction to a specific role. So I was like, oh, this may be a big deal. So
this may do it. Yeah.
This may do it. So that was that one is, I think, if you, in terms of putting on the map, that definitely is a character that people point to a lot when they're talking about like the work that I do in anime. So I'm
absolutely. We were Jeff and I mean,
over here, you know.
Absolutely. We just finished recapping season 4 of the entire My Hero Academia, and one of the we got to the Rock Lock part, obviously, when you guys are in the conference table and you're giving Deku so much shit. But but we just thought it was so, like, it was so realistic. It was like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, we were talking, even when you're having the conversation with Sir Night Eye, he's like, if you could see the future, why can't you just tell me if I'm gonna die?
Bro, honestly, when Colleen explained to me that scene and explained to me what was going on, because I didn't read the manga. I understood what My Hero was, but I didn't know what was going on at that point. But when Colleen, the director, explained to me what's going on, that literally in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, my brother, I mean, if you're able to see the future, brother, what are we doing here? You could be, we could have been done, took care of this easily. And so when that line came up, I was like, my sentiments exactly. My sentiments exactly. So I may have came on a little too
little attitude
on the kids. And you know, people. It's funny when that episode came out, a lot of folks hit me up. Was like, dude, you need to take it easy on Deku, man, and the kids. I'm like, you gotta understand, they're kids, man. They're kids. They're nice, strong now, but you know, as you know, as you keep watching, you understand why he was being so defensive. You know, they came from an actual place. You know,
right? Absolutely. I mean, Rock Lock itself, I think, just it was the first black character that people see in My Hero Academia. Everyone gravitates towards it. I think the voice is amazing. The voice is exception. Like I said before, I said it before. Thing is one of the ones that you just know. It was like, oh, that's a black man, and it was weird. It was interesting to kind of see the experience of it, because there aren't very much voices that you can just pick out and it's like distinct and it's just like, you know. But that one, you know, so you did an amazing job, my friend, on Rock Lock.
Thank you so much. And it was kind of, you know, there could have been a couple of different ways I could have gone about it. in terms of like the vernacular and just kind of like how he feels and how he kind of he sits in the mix with everybody else. And I could have took it a different way where he would have just kind of been another hero and just kind of sat there and just mixed up with everybody else. But I because he was the first black character in the show, I needed it to have a little bit of a more of a splash so that people understand. Like my brother who watches the show was like, yo, you know, and it immediately connected with this character and was like, yo, I feel like this is my big brother. I feel like this is my uncle. I feel like this is whatever. So that was my only thing, was to make sure that folks knew that, yo, this is a black man and he is very passionate about what he does and his kids and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, I'm glad that it came across in a good way.
Yeah,
Thank you.
It was
Absolutely.
It was awesome, man. Again, it's one of those things where you hear it, you know, it was the first black character. So
yeah,
just seeing it, and I mean, yeah, it was awesome, man. I mean,
appreciate you.
Definitely something that we look forward to more in the future, and obviously we hope you still get more chances to do more, stuff that you love.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to spoil it, but I think
okay, I mean,
might be a little. You good for now, bro.
So real quick before we get you out of here, I do got a question. I want to know what is like for you going forward. You know, the future. What's just the ideal role? Do you love this anime stuff? Is it is it film? Is it what is really like the next drive? What's your ideal role? You know what I'm saying, for voiceover?
Oh man, I love the anime stuff, man. That's when it's a career that obviously like it's hard to get into, and then when you get into it, it's hard to sustain just because
right.
it's not as lucrative as some may expect. But I think because I am a geek in the way of like I have been watching it, like anime is a part of my badge. My badge is like I have to stick with it, man. It's my favorite, one of my favorite things to do. I think the future for me is like I definitely like I want to get into a Marvel animated series. Like that is I've been very close in terms of like right now I'm the voice of War Machine on Marvel Super War. That's a mobile game, and then there's another game coming out that I'm working on that's a Marvel property. And so I in that way I'm already kind of putting my foot in that way, but I want to get into the animated series side of things for a thing, and so I think it'll happen. I think it'll happen. And yeah, that's kind of the pathway for me right now.
No, that's awesome, and I definitely understand, because I know if I was in your position, I'm taking it like, yeah, that's me. Yeah. I'm Rock Lock, or I'm so and so. Like, absolutely. So I could see like being a part of an anime or an anime series or anything like that. The fans in general, they tie you in with that character for life.
It's very true. Like I didn't know that at first going into it. I thought it was either you do the work and then you go back and then you're done. You get to watch it for yourself and stuff. But when I go to the conventions, that's when I'm like, yo, there's people who really like
they love me.
They appreciate the work, and it's like it actually means like there was this one girl who came up to me, she was crying. I was like, yo, what did I do? She's like, I just love your character, and and it was an African American girl, like she's a black girl, and she was crying, and she was like, oh my God, you don't know how much this character means to me, and this and that and the third. I was wondering if you could sign this, and I'm like, I'll sign whatever you want me to. So anyway, to know that it means something to somebody, yeah, man, I gotta stick with it because I know it's helping somebody's journey.
That's beautiful.
That's beautiful, man. Gabe, thank you. Wow.
Yeah, that was incredible.
This has been an amazing interview. Thank you for this, man.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate the opportunity to come on the show.
Absolutely. Where can they follow you and all the other stuff?
Yeah, so just like Gabe Kunda on all social medias, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can find
The
me all over
TikToks
there.
are amazing. Like just seeing it visually, and I'm
He
just
wasn't
like,
about to put
wow.
that. He was like,
Yeah,
And
the TikToks, man. I'm trying to get into that thing more. It's I love watching them, but trying to create something is always like nerve wracking.
yeah, and then also like just recently you did a tweet of the rated R, the like under 17 that I did.
Oh my gosh, that joint is
I
hard.
I was doing that. I was like, yo, I need to figure this out. Wait, hold on. Like,
it seems so fun, man. Like,
I was legitimately trying to for like 5 minutes. It's like under 17, it's something like that, and it was just like, wow, it's kind of a tricky,
real talent, man, real talent.
It's especially tricky when you have like 5 executives on a phone call with you listening to you do it. Then you're like, oh my God, I gotta get this right. So yeah.
Oh my God. Well, thank you again for coming on the show. Of course, everyone can continue to follow us. You can follow myself at Meelz TV, follow Jeff at Old Newsboy, and follow The Lookout at The Lookout RNC on Twitter. Of course, continue to stay subscribed to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, YouTube, everywhere where you can find podcasts. So hopefully we can, stay subscribed. We can bring you more interviews like this. Thank you again, Gabe.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys. This
once
was
again.
fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Once again, been an amazing opportunity. This brightened the hell out of my day. So I'm
Oh,
feeling
yeah,
pretty
for real.
good now.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
We will see you guys next time. Take care.
Yeah.